Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment on the Weekend Show brought to you by Holo Crunch. Good morning, Didi.
Good morning, Andy.
How was your weekend? Or the last weekend? We had a long
It
one.
was a long one, and I had a great time.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I was intentional about spending time with family and friends, and I did all of that. So, yeah.
Talking about spending time with family and friends, I took my nephew and another kid for a play date. And children have a lot of energy.
So much energy.
I did that last week, Saturday after TV. I took Sunday and Monday to recover from it and then continued with the busy week. And so that was Easter. It was a celebration of the resurrection of Jesus. However, there are a lot of similarities when it comes to religion. And something which I've got to understand and respect so much is the period of Ramadan. And this is a period of consecration where people renew themselves and give alms, and they're the best versions of themselves amongst the Muslim faith. And it's something which I've been always intrigued by because there's a high level of discipline where once it's time for prayers, they go to pray. Once it's time for fasting. And it made me realize this is something beautiful to see and something which we should commit to.
Yeah.
And so we'll be having a conversation, all we need to know about Ramadan. And joining us we have
Dauda Lawal, who is the Chief Imam of Unity Zone Central Mosque. Good morning, and thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank
I
you.
met you well.
Yes, you did.
Compliments of the season.
Same
Yeah,
to you.
thank you.
It's a pleasure. So I'm a Christian, but like I say, I really respect, especially the period of Ramadan, and I see the similarities in most of the religions. So from the Jewish to the Christians to Muslims, we talk about things like the laws, the holy book. And one of the things about Ramadan is this is also the time where the laws, like the Quran, the books were written and all. No, so tell us, what is Ramadan? So this is my opinion as someone who wants to know more. What is Ramadan about?
Thank you very much for having me here.
It's a pleasure.
Ramadan, according to an Arabic text by name Durusul Awaliya, defined Ramadan, and I quote that al-imtisak an al-akl wa sorib wa kullu muftar min jami'in ayamin shahr Ramadan. That's meaning in English language. Ramadan in explanation and extension means abstinence from eating and drinking and any other acts that capable of spoiling Ramadan from dawn till sunset throughout the days in the month of Ramadan. Now, by explanation, this definition contains three things, but two are in the same group, while other ones are divided into two. We made the operative statement, our operative words there is abstinence from eating and drinking. They are in the same group because both of them pass through mouth to esophagus downward. Anything comes in and enter spoils Ramadan. You must abstain from it. Now, another operative phrase is that, and any other thing that capable of spoiling your fasting. This any other thing, we call it omnibus statement or phrase in law. Omnibus means a phrase or statement which consists of many things and meaning. Any other thing that's capable of spoiling. This any other thing is divided into two. Artificial acts and natural acts. What is artificial and what is naturality in spoiling Ramadan? The artificial one is when you intentionally, by your act or omission, break your fasting, or you refuse to abstain from that act. That means abstinence from that act is fasting. That is artificial. For example, somebody is fasting and is masturbating. That is artificial because he does it intentionally, not natural. That means abstain from it. That is content of fasting. What is natural one? Like somebody is fasting and the menstrual period comes, it is natural. Or she get birth, it is natural. So all these things, acts, must be abstained for. That means abstinence from all these things are what you call fasting. From dawn till sunset, throughout the days in the Ramadan, either 29 or 30. That is the explanation. It is more than that, but in brief, that is what Ramadan is all about.
Yeah, this is a lot of insight, and
Now,
I like. Yeah,
legally speaking, it is quoted in the Quran. Bada Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Almighty Allah says, Kutiba alaykum siyam, kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum lahallakum tattaquna. I ordain you, I make it obligatory for you to observe fasting of Ramadan as I make it obligatory upon the people before you. That shows they have been performing this fasting even before the coming of Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, and when the Holy Prophet came, so he now specified it to be specifically 30 and in certain months. So that is it.
So how does Ramadan serve as a period of spiritual reflection for Muslims around the world?
Yes. So to say, Ramadan itself is an act of spiritualism because it goes about your spirit. From the ayah, from first I quoted, it said, Lahalakum tettekuna, meaning that I ordain this Ramadan on you, I compel you to observe this Ramadan if you are faithful and you fear Almighty Allah. That is attachment of fear of Allah to Ramadan. Meaning that if you don't fear Allah, you will not fast. When you are living in New Year, you just come to Asokoro there and eat and drink and clean your body and excuse your face like you have been fasting from 1 month, 20 years. So, but it is within your Almighty Allah and your conscience. That is why Ramadan is spiritual in one way. Now, in another way, the purpose of Ramadan is also spiritual in the sense that there is a great lesson that Almighty Allah wants to bring out, wants to teach us. And the lesson is that Almighty Allah is not wicked. Because somebody will say, because the arrogant people used to say, we hear. They say, I cannot fast you, I didn't kill God, son, no, this and that. Very arrogant and un-Islamic, unreligious, whatsoever statements. Now, Almighty Allah says, fast this month, 30 days or 29. Because of what? Because to have feeling of hunger and thirsty in you, to experience the problem that poor people are passing through so as to assist them when they come to you. There are some people, they are in position of not lacking anything throughout their life except Ramadan. Whatever you have, no matter how your financial standard high, if you are a Muslim, you observe it by 4 o'clock, you know, that you understand how these poor people feel when they don't have anything to eat, when they don't have anything to drink. So when they come to you for assistance, I know the meaning of hunger. I know the meaning of this. Let me help these people. Because I felt it when I was observing Ramadan. That is the contents.
So it's a very humbling experience which takes us back to our roots. And I must appreciate how transparent you are with this conversation and how much insight you are bringing for the average man. Because most times we just hear about these things but don't know, and we just see it as abstinence. But this angle of how when you're at your lowest, you now understand how other people feel. It's the same way as human beings. We don't appreciate our health until we're ill.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just realized, so to eat is a problem, to walk is a problem. However, what I've struggled with personally as a religious person or as a spiritual person is the fact that why do we try to be good on Fridays? Why do we try to be good on Sundays? Why do we try to be good Ramadan? For Christians, why do you try to be good the first 7 days of the year? Isn't this something that we should imbibe and make it an everyday occurrence in our life. And I'm not necessarily fasting, but the morals of it, the spirit behind it, which says abstinence, do good, and or whatnot. What can we do to ensure this is now an everyday part of our life? Because this would even solve national
That
problems.
is it. That is it. On that, we have environmental factor and we have spiritual factor, as I said. Even if somebody is not fasting, you see he calms down. He goes close to Almighty Allah. Even by pretense, he presents that, yes, I'm a good person inside Ramadan. Why? Because that is outside factor. If you see somebody, if you see in your own environment, you see people calm. You see people not eating, not drinking. No matter how arrogant you are, your body you weak. You too, you calm. That is one. Secondly, the month of Ramadan comes with certain reflection. Reflection that the month of Ramadan is one of the glorious months that Almighty Allah specially created for calmness. Even if you are Christian, even if you are Christian or you are pagan, when the month of Ramadan comes, you too, you feel, even if you are not fasting, you feel it. So that is a special created month, spiritually, for people to have it, for people to feel it. There is one hadith, not only that. You know, in the midnight, people were scared and afraid of coming out because the fear of being injured by spirit or by human being. But the Prophet ﷺ told us that immediately Ramadan comes, Almighty Allah will tie all these evil genius and evil angels, tie them down. The injurious angel will be tied down. None of them will do you harm. Now, secondly, pretense. They are pretenders. In the month of Ramadan, they will go and buy rosary, long one. They will go and buy jalamia. They will go and buy new mats. They will go and, water, calm down now. What you have not been doing before, you started doing, and after Ramadan, you abandon it. Who are you deceiving? You are deceiving yourself. Not only in the month of Ramadan, even if you exit Ramadan, continue with it. Don't pretend. So that is the reason for that.
So I have a lot of Muslim friends who live in different parts of the country and the world, and during Ramadan, they come back home to be with their family. Okay. So I want to know, how does Ramadan foster, community during the period of fasting?
Thank you. The Ramadan foster unity, oneness, the community bond, because the month of Ramadan is a special month to give out. You see people, especially rich men. So in the month of Ramadan, they give rice, they give this, they give this, they give this. So they unite themselves, because the Holy Prophet says, if you give something out as a gesture, as a gift, outside Ramadan, and you secure one reward, if you do the same thing wholeheartedly, faithfully, in the month of Ramadan, your reward will be double and times 10. So that is what people struggle to do. And then in the other verse of the Quran, it says, "Wa'ita ozile kuriba," give to the nearest people and the needy. By giving to them, so they love themselves. They unite themselves. Maybe you are richer than me, you come, assalamu alaikum. Ato, malam, alajito, take this bag of rice, take this one. Even if I don't love you before you have to give, I must love you. Yeah. Nobody hates a justice. So it fosters another one. So the religion of Islam is a religion of gathering. If you witness, you observe many mosques, they full to the capacity during Ramadan, because the mind of Muslims so close to Almighty Allah. Those that have not been attending congregatory prayer, they will be attending, and they will be meeting, and they will say, man, are you around? I'm around, this time, this and that. But we see we must, Ramadan, we must go close to Allah, so we did prayer. So by that, they see themselves, they exchange their problem so as to be solved. So,
final words, madam, and thanks for this. Let's talk to the leaders of the nation.
Yes.
February 2023 was a controversial time because at some point during the election, some people pushed a religious narrative, and most times people use religion or ethnicity to divide Nigerians. Now we have a president who is Muslim and a vice president who is Muslim, but we've seen inclusion from people from all the regions, and there are no indications that, oh, this is about religion. However, the leaders, regardless of religion, have a responsibility to the people. What do you have to say to government and leaders within this Ramadan period as we wrap up?
Honestly speaking, if I will speak my mind, I will offend our leaders. But I must say it, because the Holy Prophet said, "Qul al-haqqa walau kana murra." Speak the truth, no matter how bitter it is. In another as it is, he said, "Qul al-haqqa walau kana ala nafsika." Say the truth, even if that truth you say is against your own wish. Say it out for others to learn. I'm not insultive to the leaders, but many of, I cannot generalize them wrongly, many of our leaders, they are not trying enough. Let me give you one example. We are preaching against it now. Maybe Almighty Allah will change them to understand. So they do let them see me in their distribution. For example, you see this Alaji gather 10 people and send them into Aji with 60 million. 10 people, 60 million, 66 million. How many million? And the people you send to Aji to come and observe Aji right, none of them have 2,000 in their bank account. They are financially wretched. Why don't you give them that 6 million to go and establish themselves? By next year, 2 years to come, 3 years to come, they will be a man of themselves and assist others. So in that area, even if some of them are doing, they are not doing it religiously and righteously. That is number one. Number two, some are not even do at all. And the Holy Prophet warned them, including I myself. He said, "Wallahi la yumin, wallahi la yumin. Man kana hakiru bi jambihi jahi wa huwa halim." The Holy Prophet said it 3 times. He said, "He's not a faithful person. It's not a faithful person. I swear it's not a faithful person. Somebody who eats and bellyful, rubbing his stomach, as we naturally do, black people."
I do that.
I'm not talking to you. And surrounding him are poor people, wretched people, with his knowledge that they are not being eating anything. And he has something to wipe their tears. And he doesn't do it. Especially ours. I don't want to mention him. See, a single person in Nigeria can enrich 1,000 persons, and nothing will decrease from this word. Are they doing it? They are not. They are not. Though some of them are doing, but they are not up to the percentage we need. And Islam, the Islamic religion, is a religion of giving out, foster unity among yourself, love among yourself. But our government, I can say they are not, they are trying, but
They
what
need
they are
to do
doing
better.
is not
Thank
enough.
you very much for that. And something I've learned is speak the truth no matter how bitter it is, and knowing when to as well.
Exactly.
But thank you so much for your contribution.
you.
Thank you so much for educating Nigerians and
Yes.
myself. It's been a pleasure. Like I said, I respect what you do, and I respect the period of Ramadan, and something that has also helped me in my own faith. And so, like you have said, we need, and like you have also said, we need to ensure that religion is a tool to foster unity
love.
as opposed to using it for conflict, which is for personal and selfish interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Thank you. I wish you the same.
Thank you. We'll
And
take a
all
quick
my
break.
Muslim faithful.
Thank you. We'll take a quick break. When we return, more on The Weekend Show.